Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Not going to be the typical video here today, more of just kind of like a ramble session because I just hit 450. I got lucky and got the final pinnacle drop here, so we're just going to focus, tune to the shotgun and just do some loot cave farming while I do kind of a little bit of a rambling about how this grind honestly was pretty miserable. I think the worst part so far, or really like in the totality of the grind, was I guess just the lack of variety of things to do. That's not like a new or like I don't know, like a new unfounded point that people like haven't thought of. Like I think most people are just complaining about, you know, having to do solo ops or not being able to do the raid, getting higher tiers of that, or not even really being able to level from the raid. Any of that crazy stuff. And I'm not really like super big into PvE. Like I'll play it every now and again. Like I do like try at least like all the day one raids, but mostly like once like the raid is done, like I'm done like kind of going for like a contest emblem or whatever, like I'm really just playing PvE to get my PvE or my PvP guns. And the thing I've really been looking forward to most about grinding is this shotgun here that we're about to go grind, the Precipitial, and the comp hand cannon. Now I really just wish, I think that a lot of the rewards were more just consistent around other activities, or you could do like different things for, I guess, like time to loot ratio. Because obviously if you weren't playing solo ops, and I did play a good amount of Caldera and K1, like you were just not gonna get those levels. And I really, like in the beginning of the expansion, was not really playing much solo ops because I just thought it was really boring. But, like, it came to a certain point where I just kind of had to like bite the bullet, kind of dig in and just get some Caldera done. It really sucks because I think most of the fun about playing Destiny these days, at least for me, is being able to play with my friends. Typically I feel like I guess like a good way to say is, I don't know, like my friends and I usually every weekend, my IRL friends, like they're not like, they'll play Destiny, but they're not like, you know, grinding, doing content and any of that crazy stuff. So like we enjoy doing our like trials cards once a week. Like I'll help my IRL friends get their flawless runs in, and they're always just like horribly like dismayed opening the lighthouse chest, not getting, you know, those tier 5 drops, tier 4 drops, anything of the sort. Because, you know, I think a lot of my friends are in like the mid like 300s, so like it's not like they haven't played the game. Like they've put like a good amount of hours in the game, but why did we get a tier 4? Oh, did it not claim the upgrade? Well, that's a little bit of a fumble right there, but let's go actually make sure we claim the upgrade. A little bit of a fumble right there, but I don't know. Again, I just don't think the time is really being respected here. And I'm only like gonna be or the max power and be able to enjoy all these tier 5 drops for where is the upgrade? Oh, it's here. Okay, I'm only gonna be able to enjoy this for like a week, and then the power is gonna increase again. I'm not gonna be able to get any of these tier 5 drops for like the new weapons, which is a damn shame. So I'm really gonna have to buckle down and get a good comp hand cannon and a good one of these shotguns. I don't think it's gonna be too hard to get this tier 5 shotgun now that I'm 450, so I can just sit in the loot cave. But like after all this grind, like weeks and weeks, it's been what? It's been about a month and a half, I guess, since the expansion came out, to get 450. I know some people were pretty crazy and got it like within like the first like 2 or 3 weeks, which is honestly insane. But I think it really just came down to like where you will end up, just bite the bullet and do some solo ops. But I am kind of upset that like even though I've done all this grind, like I'm gonna be reset to, or not reset, but I guess what they're increasing the power cap to 550, if I remember correctly. So after, again, this next reset, when Ash and Iron comes out, I'm not going to be able to get tier 5s immediately. Which I guess they don't want people doing, because then they kind of just... people get all the stuff and they stop playing. But it kind of brings me to another point. Like, if the game was... if everything wasn't just, like, carrot on the stick, like, I think most people are kind of, like, incentivized by the loot, not necessarily the gameplay aspect. At least for me, I think the grinding for the loot part is my least favorite part about this. I actually generally enjoy, like, actually just, like, playing. I'm definitely more of a PvP guy, as you know, so, like, I find the most enjoyment just from actually playing PvP, not just, I'm just gonna spin the slot machine a million times and get that, like, little bit of dopamine when I get the weapon to drop, or god roll armor piece to drop, or whatever that piece of loot may be. So the fact that I'm gonna have to be forced to engage with the part of the game that, like, I'm not as interested in, like, PvE is cool and all, and like, it's definitely not like the most heinous thing ever to grind, but it's not really where I'd be preferring to spend my time to. So I think that's what Bungie's got to do, is find ways to make the game enjoyable without being incentivized to spin the slot machine. I've done a couple Trials rant videos in the past, and I've been, one of my key points is, sure, like, maybe player population at the beginning of season is always going to be good because everyone wants the new shiny toy to play with, right? But if the mode itself isn't super fun or engaging, or people don't actively like playing it, we actually got one right there. But if people don't actively enjoy, that's a horrendous roll, by the way. Oh my goodness. But if people don't actively enjoy playing it, the game for what it is, then it doesn't matter how good the loot is if the mode itself isn't fun. And then it kind of also brings it back to, I think even some PvE players feel the same way, where it's like, raiding is fun. It's probably like the most, raiding in dungeons, I think most PvE players would agree, are like the most fun activities. Like, they actually want to be doing those activities. But like, when you're like de-incentivizing people to play what they actually want to play, you know, for the actual enjoyment of playing the video game and shooting the aliens, that's where we kind of run into some issues, because people don't want to have to do the grind to then play what they want to play, which is kind of the situation I'm in right now, where I'm just kind of, I'm playing this mindless loot cave to get the shotgun so I can enjoy PvP more. But yeah, that's really it. I don't really have any like crazy like sweeping changes. I'm not a game developer of any sort. But I think it's kind of plain as day, or clear as day, to see why people are upset and why people aren't having like the greatest time in this DLC right now. And that doesn't always, and that even could be said for people who have like increased their playtime since this expansion's dropped. Because I know I've definitely played a good bit of this expansion, obviously, because I've hit 450, but that doesn't necessarily mean the time I've spent has been the most enjoyable. Because I think, at least for me, I feel like I've spent the least amount of time playing PvP in this expansion. Even though I still record, I have, you know, my daily uploads and whatnot for PvP, but usually it's just, oh, especially over the last couple weeks, it would be, oh, just play, you know, your 2-3 games of quick play to record the video, and then, oh, you gotta go back to Caldera to get, you know, the guns you actually want to do. Because I know a lot of people would be interested. We got another one. I know a lot of people would be interested in, you know, seeing, like, you know, the tier 5, like, campaign cannon, or, you know, some of those tier 5 trials weapons, or even this tier 5 shotgun we just got here. But again, it's kind of just locked behind this massive wall And we got another horrendous roll there. Even with 3 perks in each column, RNG is very fickle. I'll just keep this rant and conversation going, maybe until I get one more drop here. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what you guys have. You guys are thinking about this as well. And I've seen a lot of comments in my recent videos about how a lot of you guys don't really play at this current moment, but you still like enjoy watching the videos, which makes sense. I mean, if you're just like, with so many games to be playing right now, there's definitely not. It's not like Bungie is really offering like the best experience in comparison to everything else. I think it's just for a lot of people, they've sunk their time into this game, or they sunk their time into however many games. They're feeling like a lot of investment towards you, maybe like, you know, the amount of hours they spent in a game, so they don't feel as obligated to start again on something new, which definitely, at least for me, is definitely a thing. Like I still play other games from time to time. I play Marvel Rivals a good bit to, you know, prevent some burnout, so I can, you know, I'm not playing this game the entire time, but if I had the choice, I really would like just prefer to play this game most of the time, because this is, I mean, in all likelihood, this is probably my favorite game like I have played, or at least it's definitely the game I spent the most time in. But again, I think this expansion has not been the most kind to their players, especially with that. I should have made a like a Twid reaction video last week, responding with the one that everybody was upset at, but I think that wouldn't have been like the most necessary, or I thought it wouldn't have been the most necessary, because I probably would have just brought up a bunch of the same points that a lot of like the bigger creators have brought up as well. So we got a tier 5 bond, so we'll keep going until we get a shotgun, because I really would like a nice shotgun. That's actually pretty good. I'll definitely keep that. But like, they've actually had a lot of good like this expansion. I actually think that the tier system is cool. I haven't actually beaten the raid yet. I do need to beat the raid so I can actually make an attempt for the epic raid contest mode. Because I think one of the requirements to actually do the raid is actually, or compete in the epic raid, is beat the normal raid. After contest mode, we didn't even go back to complete the raid at all. We were kind of just distraught. We almost, I remember that day one experience. We almost killed the, we were on the Hobgoblin the entire time. We almost killed him. And then around like the 12-hour, 13-hour mark, a lot of my teammates were definitely feeling, I don't know, a lot of it beaten down and frustrated, so a lot of them ended up getting off. And I wasn't really trying to like raid with like LFGs or people I didn't really know, so I didn't really attempt it much on day 2, for that matter. But I would like to give the epic raid a shot. You know, because that's like the one or two times a year where I can actually play PvE, and it's like really fun. Those and the last 2 like contest dungeon, like those are good changes when Bungie introduced those contest dungeons. Those are a lot of fun. Best vs Host and Sunder Doctrine are a lot of fun. There's another tier 5 drop, but it is a machine gun. It is just crazy though how much your loot changes once you just hit that magical like 450 number. Like those tier 5s are just raining. I think they definitely could have done a nice thing by maybe like tying a lot of these tier 5 or higher tier drops to not just your power level, but if you could beat like some like super hard activity and get those drops. I don't know, like, they didn't mention like in the contest like epic raid they're gonna I think have guaranteed tier 5s. This makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's like literally the hardest Destiny's ever gonna be is in those like contest raids, so I don't see why they wouldn't be giving those tier 5s out, which is a good change, but probably not something I really want to give them a whole lot of credit for, because that's just how it should have been from the beginning. Watching people beat the actual day 1 Desert Perpetual and getting those like tier 1 and 2 drops, that was depressing. That was really, really sad. Oh, where are the shotguns at? Yeah, I think in the future, like, I do like this like gear tiering system concept, but I think they have to tie more ways to get these tier 5 gears to like achievements in game rather than just a ginormous time sink, which isn't like some radical take by any means, but I think it's just one that just clearly needs to be mentioned. It is just an obvious thing for Bungie to change. I also kind of with like this. I know this is also like not like a big thing for most players because I think most people are, when they play this game, they're in it for the PvE, but PvP is really like, if you want to level up the PvP, like that was just not gonna happen. Like sure, Trials was gonna rain loot, but that's only like once every, I guess that's like every weekend. If you want to play like during the week, then your options were what, like comp and quick play. And because there's like SBMM, you know, a lot of the games, and I think honestly in general, like SBMM is like more of a positive than negative. This is more of like my experience. Like when you're like in a higher tier like skill-based matchmaking bracket, like me, it obviously just takes a lot longer to find matches, so the loot to time ratio is just not there. Another bad shotgun, but I think we'll call it right there. Not like a really like organized video by any means, but kind of want to get my thoughts out. Something easy to do. I know some of you guys like the rant videos, but yeah, we'll now that we're 450 and we have it for like a week before the power increases again, I'll try to get like, you know, the tier 5 Percipial god roll, and then I'll try to get, you know, maybe a comp hand cannon, some other cool like tier 5 stuff to get some cool armor or whatever. But thank you guys so much for the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.